speaking of college football, I'm very excited to announce my first rankings of the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm gonna try and do rankings every show of different positions. And I thought because the Heisman is so quarterback heavy, I thought I would start off with the quarterback draft rankings. And I'd love to hear your opinion on each pick. So I did the top five because if I did the top six, it would only be for quarterback. I'd be doing top six because I like Anthony Richardson, but I think he is the sixth guy looking in. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's had a good season, but for the NFL draft, I think he is the sixth guy looking.
Now it doesn't mean he's not gonna get drafted over these guys, but I'm saying just like I didn't want to do a sixth thing for him. I think he's a sixth best quarterback, but I still think he's gonna get drafted over some of these guys.
Mm-hmm. I
And
think, yeah.
sorry, you're good.
No, I'll speak on what I was gonna say after your next few points.
Tyler Van Dyke from Miami is going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
He probably would have gotten in over one of these guys. I'm a very big fan of Tyler Van Dyke, but I think it was smart for him to go back to school. So, but he would have been my fifth guy if he would have stayed.
He's not gonna get in over some or like a topper pick over some of these quarterbacks coming out this year.
Yep.
And so I think coming back for a year, you're gonna be one of the number one recruits next year. Play a good season, see if you can come out on top.
Why did my camera just lose focus? I think it'll autofocus. But yeah, I mean the only quarterback next year is Caleb Williams, and he's number one. He's obviously the number one guy. So I think Tyler Van Dyke could be the number two, number three quarterback next year. So I think it was smart for him to go back. But he
Yeah,
would have been
but
he
if
would have
he
been my fifth
now
guy.
like but if he has a uh, great season, like what if he's the best quarterback next year? He could
He
totally
could have a
ascend
Mac Jones
elevation.
rise.
Yeah,
He could have a
like he
Mac
could
Jones rise.
not even a Mac Jones race. Like what was it? It was Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, which both of those quarterbacks haven't worked out. But
Bro.
leading into that draft, who's it gonna be? Like what are we gonna see? Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin. These are the two guys. They both had a good career. We thought Andrew Luck this whole time. Robert Griffin's just popped off. We can't believe it. Like we could see a similar storyline developing next year if he comes out and pops off next year.
That's what it is. This is a wall. It's ruining it. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what was going on. It's the wall. No, I completely agree.
It's just
Yeah,
waving to you guys.
yeah. I'm trying to like. There it is. That's what's blocking it. But yeah, I would have had Tyler Van Dyke as my number five, but he'll probably be number two and number three next year. Another guy, obviously, he's not a quarterback. Olu Fashanu from Penn State would have been a top 10 pick in my opinion. Decides to go back for some reason. I kind of disagree. Get your money while you can. That's my opinion about the NFL draft. Get your money while you can. But
I mean, finish your degree is important to some of these guys, and some of the guys they have a passion for their team. They think they're gonna. I mean, they were in a good spot this year. They were competing, and so I
yep.
understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. It's not what I would have done, but
Well, he would have gotten paid $40 million. That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, if I'm guaranteed 40, 50, maybe like I don't know how high he'd go. I think top 10 though. Like maybe like the 8 to 10 range. He was easily the best tackle prospect.
mm-hmm.
He would have gotten 40, $45 million guaranteed. So I would have immediately like, oh, I'm declaring, y'all have a good day. Like that's me personally, but I understand if he wants his degree. So, but now actually going to the quarterbacks at number five, I'm gonna have Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Hendon Hooker had a great season. Tennessee had a great season. I think there's a lot of pros and cons for him. The pros for him, he has a very quick release. His thwip is elite. His escapability, he has very good escapability, and apparently he has a very high IQ. Apparently he has like a 4.0 at
Oh
Tennessee.
really?
Now I don't know what
That's
classes he's
not
taken.
easy. Yeah, I don't know what classes, but Tennessee's not a chump school. It's not like easy admissions. That's a top program. So the fact that he has a 4.0 is very impressive.
Yeah, and apparently his football IQ is top notch. Like his coaches rave about it. His cons, he's 25 years old. Uh,
Well,
now we make fun of Stetson Barrett with Georgia because he's 25 years old. Did you know that Stetson Barrett and Lamar Jackson are born the same year, but Lamar Jackson has won an MVP in the NFL already, and Stetson Barrett has not graduated? Yeah.
that's crazy.
So, And Stetson and Hendon Hooker's like a year younger, maybe. He might be the same age, but I'm pretty sure he's 25 years old. Another con, while he has escapability, he relies on it a little too much. He holds onto the ball way longer than he needs to. He doesn't just take the check down. And Tennessee runs a very, very unique scheme. It is not easily transferable to the NFL. So while he has a high IQ, I think it would take time for him to develop into an NFL quarterback. My prediction.
Have a lot of time being older.
Exactly. That's one problem. Is that like when you're so much older? Because if he was 21, that's 4 years of development you have. But when you're 25 entering the league, 4 years from now you're 29. You're almost 30 years old. Like you can't not be NFL ready at 25. But I think he's a day 2, day 3 pick. If he was in the 3rd round, I think any team would take him. His 2022 stats was 3,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's a what? 10. What is that? What ratio is that? Is that like a 14-to-1 ratio touchdown interception?
It's almost a 3-to-1.
No, it'd be 14-to-1. Because he threw 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So every 14 touchdowns, he had a 14-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, you're right. I was doing my math wrong.
Yeah, it's fine. It took me a second to get there, but I think he has the tools to be capable. But it's just I wouldn't draft him, me personally. If I was any team, I wouldn't draft him just because of his age.
Hey, like, what about a Tennessee, like later in keeping them in Tennessee? A Tennessee Titans 3rd-round pick. That could be a fun little.
The thing is, they already spent a 3rd last year on Malik Willis. That's the problem. Do you really want 2 years in a row spending a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback?
Who cares?
They care. They're trying to win.
Wait, yeah, but like if you go in and he kills an interview, he goes in and you believe he could be your guy, and you can get him in the 3rd round.
That's true.
Why not take a swing?
Yeah, that's a good point. My number 4 quarterback. I watched a couple of his games in preparation. I didn't watch the full games. I skipped through it. Tanner McKee. He is a monster. He is 6'6", 230. Yeah. He's like automatically he's gonna get Josh Allen comparisons. It's just how it works when you're 6'6", 230. You're gonna be compared to Josh Allen. The only thing that he has with Josh Allen is the zip. They both throw that ball with a lot of power in the short to medium range. But what the difference is that Josh Allen has that deep range where Tanner McKee does not. He's very good in the intermediate. He's not good deep. And he runs a West Coast offense, which is what 95% of the NFL runs. So he easily transfer right from college to NFL. A con is his accuracy dips under pressure. He actually has one of the lowest passer ratings when blitzed in all of college. So if you have a good offensive line, I would be interested. But he's also a slow processor. So when you're reading defenses, that's a QB killer. If you have a slow processor, and that's my ding on him. I think he is better than Hendon Hooker. I think he is definitely worth a late round 2, early round 3 pick. I think the Colts would be a great team for him.
Yeah, I think one of those teams that is a good team that's not going to be top. They're not going to get one of these top 3 guys. And you have a top round 2nd day pick. Take a swing on him. See what you got there. Knock the boots on him and see what you can get.
Yeah, the only problem I would have with the Colts taking him is that we've seen that with a statue and Matt Ryan, he's been sacked 1 billion times. So I guess maybe not, unless you improve your offensive line a lot this offseason, or maybe not the Colts.
Rivers had success, and so did
Jacoby Brissett.
He
had a good season.
Who was their quarterback last year?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. He's kind of he's mobile, but he's more of a pocket passer, and he had success. As much as people knock on him, he actually had a really good season with the Colts, and so you could still see some success there. I think there's some good. I think the Colts is a good mock-up.
And then at Stanford, their offense is abysmal. I don't put that on Tanner McKee. 3,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's throwing to nobody. Like I'm gonna be honest. Wide receivers in the next class I'm doing. There is not a single Stanford wide receiver I would ever draft. Those guys are booty. Like
Yeah,
he's throwing to nobody. So I do
yeah.
not blame him.
Hey, listen, at Stanford, they're growing their program, and I mean they're more of an educational program. It's just period. That's what they're known for. Um, Andrew Luck struggled there.
Yeah.
He had crazy numbers, but when a quarterback that was borderline Hall of Famer coming into the league, like if he would have stayed healthy, 10 years would have been Hall of Famer. Type talent struggled at Stanford. I don't put that on Tanner McKee when he struggles as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Tanner Key's size. Obviously, 6'6" is very interesting. I like that he can go in a West Coast offense, which now not every team runs a strict West Coast, but almost every offense is based off the West Coast offense. The 49ers in the 90s completely changed the NFL. So,
Yeah, 100%.
but I think I think the Colts, maybe the Washington Commanders as well. If Sam Howell isn't the guy, I think that's another team that's interesting. They have a pretty good offensive line. Uh, then moving on to number 3 is going to be Will Levis. Obviously, Will Levis. Now, if you go to college football TikTok or Twitter, God, they hate Will Levis, dude. God, like I understand the problems with him, but guys, like he again, another guy not really thrown to an NFL talent. I think there are guys that will get drafted.
School.
Yeah, it's a smaller school. It's not a football school. It's a basketball school. Kentucky's a basketball school. Um, but I mean, 2,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. What you really want in a quarterback, Will Levis has, except for stats. Like he has the footwork, he has the arm, he has the processing, he can read defenses, he has enough agile ability to run for a first down. He just has no patience. Like he will like just either take quick dump offs or he'll sit in the pocket for too long waiting for that route development. He has no patience whatsoever. He runs out of the pocket too much, honestly, because he doesn't. I don't think they have a good offensive line. I haven't really done offensive line scouting for their team, so I can't say anything about their offensive line. But I think there's something behind the scenes where he doesn't trust his offensive line. Like it's what it's got to be. There's no way that this guy's running out of this many clean pockets, and his sideline accuracy, it's abysmal. Like I'll be honest, his sideline accuracy does dip, and a little lower than I would want. But you can always teach accuracy. Like I'm gonna be honest here, you can teach accuracy. Enough throws against an NFL defense, you learn certain things that you can do better.
And you can teach patience as well.
Yep. So I think he has everything that you would want in a quarterback. Again, I wouldn't draft him. Yeah, I wouldn't draft him. Again, I don't. If I am a team that's trying to rebuild, I'm taking for sure picks.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a for sure tackle or for sure corner or for sure safety, I'm not doing none of this. Oh, we're gonna develop him for 3 years. I'm a head coach. I don't got 3 years with some developmental quarterback.
Yeah. But yeah, like a later round pick, like the Ravens did when they had a later round pick at 32, they take Lamar Jackson,
Yep.
do a project. They already have a quarterback. If he's a complete flop, hey, we already have a quarterback. It doesn't matter. Um,
And I do think he's going in the first round.
but
I do think he's gonna be from the 12 to 20. That's his range. He's 12 to 20 is his
I
range.
think he might even slip in a little bit lower than that, just because, like you said, he doesn't have the stats and I think, publicity of the fact that he has very negative press towards him, and the fact of a lot of people think he'll be a bust, I think is going to scare some teams off. But
Well, the thing is,
especially in
Justin.
that 12, 13, 14 pick, like you're talking, Justin Fields was taken 11.
Mhm.
Like you can't compare the like that's the type of quarterback level that you're talking at that point, and that's just not where he's at right now. He's a Lamar Jackson 32nd pick. He's a second round Jimmy G project. We'll wait a few years, see what we got. Maybe throw him in year one. We'll see.
Yeah, a team I think would be pretty interesting for Will. A team I think would be interesting for Will Levis is definitely an AFC South team. Whether it's the Titans because they have Ryan Tannehill, and he is better than like I like Malik Willis. He's better than Malik Willis. Like he just is. But again, I think they need other positions more. The Colts, I think they need other positions more in the first round. The Texans are going to get a quarterback. The NFC South as well is another team. if the Saints can somehow trade up for Will Levis, that is one of the most perfect spots for me. That is my number one spot for him is the Saints. Now, obviously, they don't have a first round pick. They traded it for Chris Olave. Great trade. He's a pretty good. He's the best rookie wide receiver.
What would also be like a sneaky little move, and I could see Steelers doing it. Steelers trade down and then go pick him, and then go get another first round pick. They're gonna have a high first round pick. Let's say you don't see someone that you absolutely love in this draft, picking fifth, sixth in the line, trade down to 10th, and then get like a 14th round pick, and go pick him as well.
You said the Steelers
over
Kenny Pickett. You think they move off Kenny Pickett?
I don't think he's the guy.
I mean, again, I don't either. I don't either. But they do.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they've come out and said that because they don't think that they can get a quarterback this year. I would not be shocked at all if Steelers pick a quarterback this draft.
I think they give him one more year. That's the thing. If let's say they keep Kenny Pickett and they draft a Tanner McKee. Let's just say it's Tanner McKee in the second round, the top of the second round, like a top 5 pick in the second round. You can't keep Kenny Pickett. No matter what, he's gone. So that's what I'm saying. Unless
you know what you have in Kenny Pickett, though. I don't think Kenny Pickett. I think he's hit his ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be what he's gonna be. It's like a Mac Jones. You know what you see, what you're gonna get. He's gonna be what he is. It's not gonna be. He's not gonna turn into Tom Brady overnight. It's not gonna develop into be this crazy quarterback. It's gonna be a game manager. Do you want a game manager like a Ryan Tannehill, or do you want to go take a swing and try to get yourself a future top 5 NFL quarterback?
Yeah, again, I don't like Pickett. They shouldn't have picked Pickett. I thought it was a bad pick, but I just don't think they move off him.
It was a good pick at the time.
I didn't.
Just because they didn't have a quarterback. They needed a quarterback.
They had Trubisky at the time. They already signed him.
Yeah, but Trubisky's not your long-term answer. They wanted a long-term answer, and so I get it. And I'm not saying it was a good pick.
But you understand the idea behind it.
I understand the idea of it, yeah.
Moving on to number 2. I mean, in my eyes, it's already set in stone, the first 2 picks. And the second pick, in my opinion, of the NFL draft is C.J. Stroud. I don't think he's better than Bryce Young. I don't think he is. I think he's still good, but not as good as Bryce Young. He had 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Should win the Heisman. Of the 4 finalists, he should be the Heisman favorite. Now, does he win it?
That Michigan loss really hurt him.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, what other ones? It's TCU, Max Duggan. Is it Dugan?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Georgia Benson Starrett. I can't pronounce his name. He's not winning it. And who's the other one?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think CJ does win it. I just think if you win against Michigan, you're a shoo-in for it. Losing against Michigan.
Caleb Williams. Sorry, Caleb Williams. Sorry.
I think Caleb Williams could win it.
I do. I want to change my mind. I think Caleb Williams wins it.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close in the votings, but I think Caleb Williams actually might win it.
Yeah. I mean, CJ Stroud's give me 2. Yeah, CJ's give me 2. So he'll at worst be 2.
Convincing loss. Like if it was a 3-point loss, 4-point loss, like close game. No, you got blown out by Michigan. Like, It wasn't even close.
But CJ Stroud, a pro, his ball placement, I love his accuracy, especially deep.
Okay.
I love his deep ball accuracy. His stats back up his intangibles. Unlike Will Levis and unlike Tanner McKee, who both have a lot of the intangibles you want, he has his stats. 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. His entire college career has been amazing so far. He has the NFL arm. He has the NFL athleticism that you're looking for. A con, he has an NFL arm, but it's not an elite NFL arm. And with a top 2 pick, you want to have everything. So he doesn't have the massive 80-yard bomb that Baker and Josh Allen do. Because I don't like Baker, but I will always say he can throw that ball deep.
He can throw that ball, yeah. But you can add a 15 to 20 yards onto your pass.
Yeah.
With workout and with, I think he can throw a 65-yard pass right now,
which is still good. Like I can't throw 65 yards.
And if you can add, another 10 to that, that's 75. When are you going for a 70-yard pass that you really need?
Exactly. If you're
Like,
going for a 70-yard pass, you lost the game already. So, and then the last con, I couldn't think of another con besides he's gonna have the OSU QB stigma. Like Justin Fields is the first OSU quarterback that I think has truly broken that stigma.
and he hasn't broken it. People still think he's a bust. There's still a lot of people that are coming out being like, well, he can't throw. He's a running back, similar to like what they were saying with Lamar early in his career.
Which is a
And
little
I just
racist in
don't
my
get it.
opinion. I'll
I
say
don't
it.
think it's.
No, I'll
I
say
don't
it.
think
I'll say it.
it definitely has.
No
been.
one says anything about Josh
It's
Allen.
just-
No one has ever said anything about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, his rookie season, was
Yeah.
more of a runner than Lamar Jackson. And no one said a single thing about Josh Allen. I think race 100% plays a part into it. And I will
Oh,
fight
100%
anyone in the
plays.
comments.
At 100% plays a part. I just don't think Justin has better running back stats than he has quarterback stats this year.
Which isn't really his
I
fault.
think that plays into it.
Yeah, that really is fault either, though. Just
Yeah.
give him the Dolphins weapons, dude. They have the exact same record. But I think he's the first quarterback truly to break and will break. I guess if he hasn't officially broken it yet, next season he will break that stigma of OSU quarterback. I think CJ Stroud his rookie season will break it. Like I think he's better than Justin Fields coming out.
Coming out, definitely. I don't think he will be NFL career-wise. I think Justin Fields will go down as the better quarterback, but we'll see. It'll be fun to see. This is my personal thing. I think C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of this class.
Over Bryce Young.
I know. Yeah, I know who you have coming up next,
Well, yeah. That's,
and it's Bryce Young.
actually, it's Anthony Richardson. It's just-
Yeah, it's Bryce Young. I think he's over Bryce Young for the same reason Alabama quarterbacks have a worse stigmatism in my mind than Ohio State quarterbacks do. Alabama quarterbacks, besides Tua, have been complete garbage. And so it scares me once they leave that Alabama program, they struggle. And so
that is really interesting that everything else from Alabama is always an A+ pick, but quarterback is like
quarterback, it's a complete question.
yeah. I think Mac Jones will get a second contract. I think he's good enough to get a second contract. I mean, I think Tua's getting a contract. Do you count Jalen Hurts as Alabama? I mean, he graduated from Oklahoma, but his first 2 years were Alabama. Would you count Jalen Hurts as an Alabama quarterback more than an Oklahoma quarterback?
I count him more as Oklahoma.
Because he had
Did
his.
play at
I mean, he went to two natties with Alabama.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't the starter.
Yeah, he was both games.
Oh,
So he lost the first game. He lost. Like he was a starter all throughout. The second year in a row, they were losing. Tua gets put in, they win. So he did start both national championship games, and he started the entire season. But Tua, the second natty in a row, they were down by a lot. So they put Tua in, they win. Then he lost his job. He goes to Oklahoma, becomes a Heisman finalist, and then gets drafted.
Yeah, and he's a good quarterback. I think, yeah, he's both. I mean, because he was both, and so, but I think I think you need Ohio State, and you could make the same argument with Justin Fields. Justin Fields wasn't Ohio State all the way through.
It was Georgia, right?
Yep, he was Georgia at first, and then he transferred to Ohio State. I think you truly need 100% Ohio product to truly come out to break that stigmatism. Or
Which is
100%
CJ.
Alabama.
Yeah, which is CJ. But yeah, I think CJ, he's still a top 2 pick. Even if he's not number 1, he's still gonna go number 2. And going in my eyes, number 1, it is Bryce Young to the Texans. Like I think Bryce Young should literally buy a house in Texas right now. I think it's already guaranteed he's gonna be a Texan. 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not a great statistical season, to be honest with you. Like not for Bryce Young at Alabama. Not a great season, but not a bad season either.
Yeah, his height scares me a little bit.
Yep, that is my only con for Bryce Young.
Yeah,
That's the only problem I have with Bryce Young.
Sorry to steal your con there, but that's the one thing that really scares me about him.
Yep.
When you're under 6 foot, you really need to be a dynamic runner, and he's not dynamic. He's good.
Good enough.
But he's not.
He's good enough.
He's not dynamic, and so it scares me a little bit. But I still think he will be number one. I just think CJ Stroud is the better quarterback. I don't think
Hmm.
he is going number one. I think I think definitely 100% the person that's going to be going number one is Bryce Young.
Yeah, and pros, he evades pressure well. Now, is that his offensive line just being so elite? He like only one rusher at a time ever goes at him. That's up for debate. He doesn't have the best legs, but he can extend plays. I think there's a very big difference in extending plays and being a great runner. Patrick Mahomes is amazing at extending plays. I don't think he's that good of a runner though. But when he's trying to extend plays, he is the best in the league, number one. But like running the ball, he's not number one. So I think Bryce Young is in that niche or niche, whatever how you pronounce it, niche of
It's pronounced both ways.
whatever. I've heard it both ways. I think he is in that. Yeah, he's in that little form of he can extend plays amazingly, but do not ask him to run. He'll be just average. On my last pro, massive arm, great deep ball accuracy. That is A plus what you want in a number one pick. Is can you throw the ball 75 yards and can you do it accurately? Joe Burrow could do it. Baker at Oklahoma could do it. Now, was his wide receivers wide open? Yes, they were. But so I really I've been on a Baker Mayfield hate train the last year. Anyway, Justin Herbert can do it. Bryce Young is another top five, obviously could be a number one pick who has the massive NFL arm to match the deep ball.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna always throw a little Baker comment into whatever I'm evaluating quarterbacks. I got keep digging that hole of God,
Well, he was
please.
the number one overall quarterback taken in that draft. I think you got to give him a little crap every once in a while.
Yeah, when your wide receivers are wide open at Oklahoma, it's pretty easy to throw the ball accurately. Anyway,